Welcome to DC to Daylight. This is Aaron, amateur radio call sign N6ACA. Today we're going to be talking about one of my N6ACA cool tools, which is ADIF Master. So ADIF Master is a ADIF editor that runs on Windows platforms, and it's a piece of software from DXL. So it allows you to import ADIF files. You can merge them and edit them. So DXL has a bunch of other utilities that are pretty cool. I haven't necessarily used all of them. They've got things related to contests, basically taking stuff out and putting it in the Cabrillo format, and rig control. The thing that I use quite a bit is I really like JT Sync right here. It's a really cool software package. So when we look at ADIF files are text-based files. So right here I'm bringing up a ADIF file in a text editor here. This is from the 10 meter contest, output from N3FJP for my contacts. So basically it's just a text document with a bunch of fields in a standard setup by the amateur radio information format or something, whatever the acronym is. I'll put a list to the link in the video notes. But when you look at that, that's sort of a pain to edit by hand, especially for a bunch. So when you install the ADIF Master software, it becomes the default for your ADIF files. And so here I have a ADIF file that I used for activating one of my local pota parks. And so anytime you work with an ADIF file, basically you're exporting from a logging piece of software, whether it be digital modes or some other type of logging software. You directly enter it, and sometimes there's errors. So sometimes you set up your call sign incorrectly, log the grid square or calls or any number of things inside the ADIF file. And you can edit that or remove entries. The thing that I'm going to do today is, so I have this file set up for pota, and so the fields my sig or my underscore sig and my underscore sig underscore info are used for pota, sota, and worldwide flora and fauna. And so I've formatted this file for pota. And so what I am planning on doing is I want to set off to wwff. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So I've opened the file here. So we can edit the sig, edit again. So the kilo prefix that are now US are the same on certain parks, not all of them. There's not an overlap, but if there's a Venn diagram, there's probably like a 90% overlap between the entities that are parks and WWFF locations, but you need to actually verify that. So I've activated this before for WWFF, so I'm going to do KFF right there. I'm going to do two of these and do KFF. So I'm going to select these two guys right here, and I'm going to Control C, and we're just going to Control V down the line. So we can basically just change all these. It's sort of a pain to edit individual entries, but when you do multiple entries, it copies and pastes pretty well. It formats sort of strange. So we're just going to do this through all of these. You can see I made a bunch of FT4 contacts in the park, which that was really cool. There's a lot of folks on the 20 meter FT4 there. So, okay, so now we just go in here and save. And that file is closed. So without saving, I'm going to show you too. So if we've got a bunch of log entries that we're not interested in moving forward. So let's say I say, okay, so everything from this time to this time that we want gone. So I'll go over here. Say, well, those are entries I don't need to put in. I can go through and I can do delete selected rows, and suddenly those are all gone. Another thing that is super helpful is if you have, if you're going to brute force this to upload for pota, and you have multiple parks. So if you have a 2 fur, 3 fur, 4 fur, 5 fur, whatever, and so you're actually activating multiple entities, you can do the mysig info, take a file, input it, and then edit it and save it as a secondary file, and then re-upload it into the pota.app site. And so it'll see that it's a QSO for a secondary entity that you've activated, and then give the hunters credit for it, as well as give you credit for the activation. So anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed this video today, and we'll see you again. This is Aaron, N6ACA. I'm saying 73. Thank you.